My wish for COP27 is that all parties will focus on accelerating global climate action so we can start witnessing the fulfillment of the existing commitments under the Paris Agreement and reduce emissions as pledged under Article 6. In this year's COP, all stakeholders need to scale up efforts to address the adaptation needs of vulnerable communities, including support of local-led adaptation and increase investment in climate-smart and sustainable solutions.
What I really want to see come out of Egypt is wealthy nations like the UK and Ireland deliver on their climate finance commitments. Back in 2009, wealthy countries promised a full $100 billion a year to low-income countries who are suffering the worst effects of the climate crisis, and they're 2 years overdue in delivering on their climate finance commitments.
With COP27 and COP15 following closely, it is a wonderful reminder of why climate action is so important. The potential biodiversity loss that will follow if you fail to properly address climate issues is something that the planet will never recover from. Whole species will be lost forever. By responding to both issues at the same time, there are so many solutions that are possible. There's no better time to act than now.
We're the only species that knows climate change is happening and why it's happening. I urge you to act now. We need a just transition away from fossil fuels, but it's you who are in power and in the boardrooms now. Please act.
What I would like to see at COP27 in Egypt is for all countries to show their urgency with their pledges and commitments in climate financing, adaptation, loss and damage mitigation. It is very crucial that we see the delivery of the promises of the developed nations to which the developing nations of the global south and the small island developing states that are being severely impacted by the climate crisis.
We need to come up with various and viable solutions to energy efficiency, renewable energy, and diversifying our resource plans within our individual countries. We need to avail more financing to companies, to countries that are frontline facing the climate crisis. We need leadership that will be accountable, both in government and private players.
We already have many effective existing technology solutions out there that can help us in reducing CO2 emissions, but we need to start utilizing and implementing them. Promises have already been made to commit on climate financing, and now what we need from our world leaders is to fulfill on their promises and to follow and deliver on their words.
My wish for COP27 is that the integrated approach towards the climate crisis should be re-emphasized. That is, we should encourage the community ideology, whereby communities who gain the skills and potentials they need to take care of their issues, regards to water, the climate, the environment as a whole. My view on leadership is that those who are passionate about the climate, passionate about the environment and the people should be encouraged in the discourses that needs to provide solutions to the climate problem.
We can't let the current economic crisis dampen our ambitions, as it will only get worse if we don't address the climate challenge. As the sustainability lead, a major property investor and a COP26 ambassador, my wish for COP27 is to see collective, bold leadership from nations and clear action plans to protect our future.
My wish for COP27 is to invite everybody to implement and include knowledge from indigenous and local people who are fighting in the front line climate change, people who understand the consequences, and people who can give us more sustainable solutions in order to create more sustainable business models or sustainable plans for our governments. Including them and including all this knowledge, we can fill the gaps that we are now facing. We need a leadership that englobes all citizens in a global scale, leaving no one behind, especially the global south. Leadership that empowers us, gives us tools to understand and actively address global issues for a better world with ecological resources and people being preserved and respected.